Alright, the day has come. I'm going to change them. So just a little update on what happened, because I unboxed some handlebars about a month ago with a great deal of enthusiasm once I sort of saw what they were all about. They're the coefficient handlebars. They're carbon fibre and they have a dramatic sweep back like that on the tops, and a couple of features that I found quite interesting when I first saw them. So the story is this: I went into the Case workshop, I actually switched these handlebars over and I got it all basically ready to go. And then I had some second thoughts. And I only had the second thoughts because at the time of the install, everything went really well and the handlebars looked great, and I was a little bit concerned that I might have been overcomplicating what's already, what I believe, a very attractive bike and a very practical bike, and handlebars that perfectly suit that bike. And so when the coefficient handlebars were put on, I started thinking, oh, it looks a little bit too much like something from Star Wars, and I just prefer the simplicity of my Zip SL80 handlebars, which are an aluminium product, a simple bend that really suits what I do on the bicycle. I had some big rides planned, and I just basically wanted to get back on my Focus Alco Max in the way that I had it for years. So that's why I basically went back to the Zips, and the coefficients are now at VeloFix, and I'm going back there now and I'm going to swap them out. Yeah. Right, so here's the deal. I finally did it. New handlebars, I put them on. Here's the look. What do you think? Something different, eh? So I'm going to go for a ride now. What I've done is I've installed some blips just up here on the very junction of this strange stem environment, and the idea is that I can just tweak it with my finger when I'm up on the tops, or just sort of drop down here and use my thumb. As you can see, I've put the handlebar tape more or less all the way along the top, which may sort of upset a few of the aero punters out there, but I think that I'm going to treat these handlebars as though it's more about comfort and, what was the word they used? Coefficient? Metabolic efficiency. So for me, it's more about metabolic efficiency than aerodynamics. So I'm going to go for comfort, see how the new hand placement treats me, and see if I go faster, see if I feel more efficient, see if I'm more metabolic, and I'll report in. But before I go, can I just show something? Look at this chain. It's not new, even though it looks it. Isn't that beautiful? Hey? I want to show it off before I go out, just in case any scabby road grit comes up and spoils that aesthetic. I'm going to just do it again with the cranks in the just right position. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Hey? Anyway, there's a clean bike before the ride. For now, it's all about these. Coefficient RR handlebars. I'll keep you posted. Alright, afternoon ride, and the reason is simple. I finally did this. You got the picture? I got the coefficient handlebars on my bicycle. I've been talking about it for a little while, and I stalled, and I had my reasons, and those reasons don't make any sense now that I'm riding with them. They're captivating, I think, to look at. And when I was unboxing, I made a few sort of hypotheses on what they'd be like to ride. And to be honest, upon application, everything that I imagined being good about these handlebars is correct. The bend is shallow. The hand positioning on the tops is really what makes them. That's what makes them special. and it makes it very, very natural. I've got the hoods positioned in a way that I thought I'd like them, but I've made a little bit of an error insofar that this one I think should run parallel to the ground. So we probably, in an ideal world, I'll get these moved down just a little bit here, and then that'll be run parallel with the ground. And I say that because as I ride along here, it's all well and good, only that feels a little bit too harsh when I hit some of the bumps. There's a little bit of a hard edge there, and it does hit into the meat of my hand. And also, when I'm riding, the Wahoo element bolt isn't running exactly parallel with the ground, which is what I imagine that they would really like. So there's a little bit of a forward tilt. So I don't think I got that exactly right, but I can say that down here there's this little, down here there's a little groove, which the immediate assumption is that that's where you put your sprint shifter, but I wouldn't need it there. I've got blips on this, which is a remote shift button for the wireless SRAM gear, and I've put them just here. It's hard to point. I've just got them here, one there and on the other side, and that suits me pretty well. I'm using the middle finger coming over the top, and I'm shifting that way. I'm actually effecting a shift as I talk to you, and it's very simple. Or alternatively, I just use my thumbs there. There's a whole wealth of things, and it's madness to claim anything about efficiency from 20 kilometers on the bike with the first sample of a new handlebar, but I will say I wasn't putting out very much power at all to get over 30k an hour. Like, you can have a look at the Strava file if you like. There's basically, I've got a power meter on this. I was sitting on about 80 watts at times. You can tell there's no wind. There's a windsock just here because I'm next to a helicopter station, and it's just flaccid. So there's no wind. I didn't have any benefit from a tailwind or anything. And is it slicing through the air, or is it metabolic efficiency? I really don't know. What I will say is I was hesitant to change from my zip handlebars, which are aluminium and a traditional cool bend that I know I like, because I just didn't want to make a bike that looked too space age. Now, there's no doubt that this is extreme. I'm going to show you. Man, look at it. It's like a cockpit. I hate using that word for a bicycle, but I'm also here to sort of test and sample new products, and they were sent to me from California, so I had to give them a whirl. They did go on the bike, then they went off the bike, and then they went back on the bike, and that's where I'm at now. And this is my first ride, and so far, really, really good. Really good. I'll give you some more feedback as I get used to them and the thoughts sort of come to mind. So, there you have a little stanza of me sitting without riding and talking to the camera, so that was something different. And also, but the truth of the matter is, it's probably better to do these product appraisals when you're on the bike, because I'm actually riding now and I'm feeling the handlebars, and I'm noticing how bloody comfortable they are. Now that I've, a lot of sand from a lot of rain recently. Anyway, another thing, just while I switch hands on the handlebars, the coefficient handlebars, is, and change gears with the blip, so neatly positioned. Another thing I've noticed is, wait for this car. Yeah, if you watched any of Ride Media on YouTube, you know that I do a lot of my pieces of the camera like I'm doing right now, like pedaling along and holding the handlebars with one hand and holding the camera with the other into the shade, excuse me, and around the speed bump, excuse me. And I tend to have that, see that shoulder, but like, I'm not exaggerating it, I don't know, I'm keen to see how it looks when I get back, because I notice often I'm exaggerating that now, but I've sort of got that shoulder up like that. But the way, I'm not saying that you're going to be more efficient riding a bike and holding a camera and therefore you're going to save watts while you're filming, but I'm saying it's sort of, my appraisal from all of that gibberish is that it does put you, it's only like a matter of a degree here or a degree there, or a little bit of a swoop or whatever they call it, and you know, just a slight change of the hand position that I've been used to, but it does put me in a more efficient position.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Like, how's that? How's that look? It feels smooth. Like, it feels... Having my hand there is bloody beautiful. Oh yeah, by the way, for all the aero guys who are going to say, oh, but you put the bar tape all over the carbon at the top and, you know, what a mess. Yes, that's true, but I live in Australia and I don't really want a melanoma. Actually, I don't want a melanoma at all, so I ride with sunscreen, and you know what that means? You get slippery hands, and you know what that means? Yeah, get a bit of bar tape up you, you know? Like, so, I'm not on the brakes, by the way, down that little bit. I'm only going 40k an hour, but I'm going around a few turns. First ride on these handlebars, so it's a different sensation on the bike. And do I look out of control? Maybe I do, but I don't feel out of control. All right, that's me, Kate Banks review of the coefficients.
First ride, I did 40k-ish in an afternoon, which I hate doing because traffic's rotten and just the vibe's different. But I am so excited. Like, hang on a sec, let's get the chainring out. Okay, switch the light off. Get the handlebars in the picture because they're the talking point. They're just like, okay, few hours in, no, not even, a bit over an hour of riding, to be honest, not very much, but totally love them, totally love them. They do, you know, like, this isn't a criticism, it's just an observation, but they do tend to sort of flop a little bit more, just obviously, well, the physics, you know, there's just a bit more bulk and stuff. At the front, so they flop around a bit at the light. So or when you're wheeling it, you know, whatever, doesn't matter. On the road, when you're riding, when you're doing what you're meant to do on a bicycle, just terrific. They're really, really cool. Like, I had talked at the turnaround that was pointing down slightly, so I think I've probably lifted about 1 degree, and then I might have to jostle the hoods down a little bit. But anyway, like, so I'm riding most of the time like this. And then here there's just just in that spot there, that little ball there, that just rests, that sits so lovely in the palm of your hand. And so you sort of do that, one of those. I just found there was a million different hand positions like that one. Got to be a little bit careful because I've got fat thumbs and I don't want it getting caught on the stem and then suddenly in the middle of traffic being like, God. But it's not like that. I can pop them in and out like that. So I was sort of riding a bit like that. UCI will ban it, don't worry. And then I got the blips just here, but I put my thumb there. Like, can you see? I hope that shows up on a camera and you sort of understand what I'm talking about. Here, I talked about at the turnaround, there's that little divot. I didn't spend a lot of time in the drops, just was concentrating on just being comfy in the tops. And I just was cruising. I was really cruising. And I got up to speed really easily. So that's just because of my supreme fitness, I think. But, you know, like, if they want to say it's because of the aerodynamics or whatever, you know, maybe, possibly. Yesterday I rode, same bike, different handlebars. And the sensations were different, totally different. Like, I've been going on for years, in fact, about, you know, blood flow. I think it's really, really good. I think that there's a lot of lessons that you can take from your shiatsu guru if you've got one. I had one, bless her, rest in peace. Tokuko. Anyway, she taught me a lot about blood. And if your blood's moving well, that's terrific. And one of the things that she used to talk about was when you sleep, don't bend your elbows. Like, she just said it would give you pancreatic cancer. I'm not being flippant, she actually did say that, so excuse me, but she did have all of these rules. Another one was, don't walk upstairs with flip-flops on, because you curl your toes and that's terrible for blood flow. So little details like that can make a big difference. And there'd be instances where I might have had trouble with some internal organs, as Tokuko used to call them. You know, she'd not specify which ones. It was just internal organs is a little bit... and she'd push here, for example, and I'd be sore as hell. And she'd say, can you bend your hand that way? Or keep your thumb that way? Or do a particular thing. And when the blood was moving, the pain wasn't there. So I don't know if everyone has done shiatsu massage like the person that I had, but there's so much to be learned about blood flow, and I'm not even touching the surface of it. And I've always wondered when they do all of this stuff for bicycle or high performance sport, and they talk about being aero and doing this and doing that, and you know, increasing your oxygen intake and everything. I don't, and in a world where we learn so much about the benefits of blood and good blood, certainly in the 90s and early 2000s, we learned a lot of stuff about that. So, I mean, we understand that good blood has got true value and can help you win bike races. So if you limit the flow of your blood, even if it's shit blood or not terribly terrific blood, then you're just not getting the most out of your body. So I don't know if the bend on those handlebars is actually increasing metabolic performance, if that's what it's called, I can't remember. But certainly felt terrific to ride. Really comfortable, really comfortable. I have no regrets about installing those handlebars, that's for sure.